Good morning, good day and good evening. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Not late at all. I don't know what you guys are talking about. First and foremost, Mother Sheep with the raid during the intro. Welcome in, man. How are you doing? What have you been up to? Anything you want to share, anything you want to show, let me know as per usual. Big shout out to Mother Sheep, yet another game developer on Twitch.tv, currently working on his recently released game called Faith in Despair. If anyone has not checked out this game yet, then definitely go ahead and do so. We did play it on stream. It's a really cool deck builder where you get to basically build your own cards. Not only do you build the deck, but you kind of build your own cards with triggers, actions, modifiers, all of that good stuff. Go and check it out, people. Support our fellow developers as always. First one in today, none other than Mr. Teabag Beer Can. Second place we have Gin, and third we have Fuzzlings. We also have Nemfin here, we have Ayo, Renderpunk, Boolean, good to see you mate, of course Mother Sheep, the man. Techbox North, welcome in. Kita, Wakacha. Great Grievance, Toto man, hope you're doing good. Techbox with the 7 stream streak, absolute legend, cheers man. How you doing, Boolean? Good to see you, man. Grisdish. I have no idea what that means, but yes. Was working on a feature that lets players rename their creatures. Ooh, that's kinda interesting. Thank you for the shoutout. That one I do understand. No worries, bitterchen. Lion, welcome in, good to see ya. For some reason I missed all of the streams lately, nice to be able to tune in. Good to have you, man. Dark Muppets here, welcome in. You doing good, Boolean? How are you, man? I'm doing quite good. Sorry, guys, I am indeed a little bit late today. Potentially, allegedly, as they say, I am a little bit late. But I did manage to work on some full game stuff today, which I think turned out pretty good. And then I had some other responsibilities and so on that I had to take care of. But you know what? We are here, and that's what matters, isn't it? I've been working a bit on the new puzzle, the disc spinning one. I struggled quite a lot with that one. It's difficult. That one is really difficult, like balancing the difficulty of. As of right now, I feel like there's only 2 real options for me to go with, which is either far too easy or far too difficult. Which is a little bit annoying. In that case, I'm kind of leaning towards far too easy. I don't know, because the thing is that this would be one of the bigger puzzles, right? Which means that, because you need to like collect stuff to even be able to solve it. So I feel like since you have to collect all of those things, maybe it would feel a bit off if you then, once you got everything sorted, you get stuck in the game, do you know what I mean? If it's like too difficult. I don't know. Basically what I tried to do was play around with it so that certain discs connected to other ones, you know, somewhat similarly to the water valve puzzle that we did. But it was kind of hard to make it intuitive, like how the discs were connected. Yeah, I don't know. It feels tricky. So right now, I actually ended up going back to the thing where you can just spin them individually. But obviously that becomes a lot easier, right? Because it's spinning them until the image forms and you're donezo, basically. Which is really simple, but I don't know. Let's see, can I maybe show you this? I don't know if I want to show this thing, do I? Because I did update it quite a bit. I also did some overall polish, made it so... Oh, I can show you one thing. I also looked at a bunch of other games that have relatively similar puzzles, but a lot of them would still require me to do quite a lot of work. And like, I don't know how much... Just, like I said, I don't want to make it too difficult either. It's like a really fine balance here. Let's see if I can find this. Here we go. I think you haven't been around since you released the demo. How did that go? So far, so good. I think the demo, last I checked, is sitting at 71 reviews. Still all positive, so I think that is quite nice. Of course, if anyone hasn't, make sure to check out the demo. If you haven't played it, make sure to leave a review. It helps out a lot. So far, I feel like it's gone quite well. It's definitely starting to, you know, cool down a little bit. We're not getting as much traffic now, but I think that's to be expected, right? It's a peak on the release and during the fest. So I think that's completely normal. But overall, I think the results have been quite good. I got quite a lot of good feedback from it as well. Hejsan svejsan. Strom, welcome in, mates. Hope you're doing well. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Anyone did anything fun? Underestimated or overestimated difficulty? Yeah, pretty much. Did you have someone test it? Yes, I did have Miss Chirpy test it. And yeah, I don't know. It is tricky. Of course, we would probably need a bunch of testing to really determine it, but I think with the easy one, like first glance, I think most people would solve it in less than like 30 seconds. So it's like really easy, right? With the more difficult one I did, that one... Like once I understood how to, like what the puzzle was, how to solve it, I could solve it relatively fast, but like getting the player to intuitively get to that conclusion, I think is really difficult. We need a bigger sample size. Yeah, I don't know, I find it difficult with this one. Let me see if maybe I can make some quick prototype art. Can I... Let me do this. I still haven't... I should have done fucking... what you call it? The... I should have saved the project. I ended up just... I don't have any layers anymore and it's messed up. Dark Muppets here with the 7 stream streak as well. Let's go. Let's see. I don't know if I want to show this. Sorry, as some of you know, we are getting into some spoiler territory here. Do I want to show this? Okay, I can show you what the first thing I did is, at least. I think I might have to prepare some placeholder stuff for the actual puzzle though. However, I did make it so that now, when you first walk up to this puzzle, it will look like this. So, as we talked about, I think Keita, you mentioned this as well, there's no reason to show the actual puzzle if you can't interact with it. So now we have these covers that basically block the entire thing. I also did some slight upgrades to the art, added some randomness around the corners, just like decorational shit, you know. And now each time you add a new gem, you will see that one of these like slightly move. And then once you got all of them, the whole thing will open up. And then you can start spinning them. And that's where I was playing around with like how to set this puzzle up. And I don't know. I don't know, if I can come up with a way to clearly show how they are connected, then I think it could work. Because I did have some ideas about potentially doing something where maybe, you know, this disc somehow like connects to this one. So you can kind of visualize how they are connected basically. But that becomes really tricky with layering if then like say that this one connects back to this one. Now I have no fucking clue how to handle the layers here, because this one needs to be in front of this one, but this one also needs to be in front of this one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't fully make sense. And I can't only connect them like outwards or inwards, because then the solution will always be to just solve them from that specific order, right? So once again, it doesn't really become a puzzle. Now again, I don't know how much this actually needs to be a puzzle, since like the main thing here will be collecting those gems or whatever. I think maybe it's fine if actually solving this specific puzzle is fairly easy, since it's gonna be a lot of a build-up, right, to find these gems. Like, that, there's gonna be multiple, like, overarching puzzles to get all of the gems. And when you have those inserted, you're like, you know, you've seen this puzzle multiple times, you're like this close to finishing it. So if it then opens up and then it's like super difficult and you get stuck, I feel like that's gonna create a really odd pacing. So it is probably better to lean on the simpler side here, or the easier side. That's nice. Nice looking. Cheers, guys. That's incredible. What's up, Boomtrout? How you doing? I bet Boolean will have it in less than 10 seconds. He solves puzzles on time, on stream, while chatting. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, it definitely is quite easy. But we'll see whether or not I can figure something out here. Can I show this? I can probably show this. Who cares? Do I want to show this? I should have done layers, then I could have easily swapped out the art here. No spoiler, wait, I'll leave and grab a beer. It's not a huge spoiler, to be fair, even if I show this. Let me see if I can quickly whip up some prototype stuff here. Or some placeholder stuff. Wouldn't be that difficult. Other than that, I think one main thing we're gonna need to do going forward is to just continue like getting way more of these puzzles sorted out. Because the main thing we are lacking right now for the full game is just more puzzles. Okay, let me do that, and then I'm going to... let's see... I'm going to copy this one. I'm gonna paste you here. Yes, and then we're gonna do some randomness. Gonna do that. Okay. I'm gonna quickly whip this together. Give me just a second and we should have something sorted here. Okay, we do that and then... Sorry, I should have probably prepared this, but oh well, what can you do? You can not be late. That's what you could do, but... Boom, boom, boom. I don't know, I still want to show you guys what I worked on, but I don't want to do anything that could potentially be a big spoiler here. Some kind of a secret that my Chappy doesn't share screen, so it was AFK for a second. It is indeed. I'm trying to quickly sort out some placeholder art to hide potential spoilers. Give me just like a minute and I should have this done. How is that sus? Okay, boom, 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 easy peasy. Not that I think this really matters that much. Maybe it does. I don't care about showing like the general gist of the puzzle. It's just that there's some elements around it right now that could be quite spoilery, if that makes sense. So did anyone have anything, did you guys do anything fun this weekend? Any exciting stuff? We'll see. You know what? It's possible that potentially I might actually do a little bonus stream tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stream on Wednesday. So might do a little bonus stream tomorrow. Also kind of making up for being a little bit, potentially a tad bit late today. Damn, I really should have sorted this out before stream, shouldn't I? Okay, I'm almost done. As we say in Sweden, the one who waits for something good never waits too long. I should probably not bring up the expectations too much here. It's nothing amazing, but I still want to show it. I definitely think it's some big improvements since last stream, in my opinion. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Last little stretch here. Is that it? I do think that is it. So let me save this and just do a quick double check here. He's raising 69s and drawing teddy bears. Damn, how did you know it, Kita? Got Twitch token authorization working without having to hardcode keys in Unity? Oh, did you? Did you make it so you can set it up like in the actual applications ROM? Okay. That should work. Then let me just do this. Boom, boom. And I'm gonna... these two guys down here too. Okay, that should be all the spoilers hidden. So fuck it, I'm gonna show this, because this you would still find relatively early in the game, so... Leposdian, welcome in, man. How you doing? Good to see you again. Almost accomplished my stream overlay. Now I'm polishing my avatar banner, and it looks amazing for me at least. Nice, Fuzzlings. Anything you wanna share, feel free to do so. Goes for you as well, Strom. Wait, so you can have Twitch integration just by knowing your streamer's name? I don't think you can do it just by the name. However, I think you can do it so that you can basically open the Twitch authorization. You know how you can sometimes get a little pop-up like with your Twitch account to authorize it. So rather than people having to like manually enter their own like streamer IDs and shit, they just click authorize and it's done. That's how it's made in Words... not Words on Stream, what is it? I think Words on Stream probably does work the same way though, but I was thinking of Marbles on Stream. Okay, let me just double check this one more time. Okay, that seems good. Ish. Sorry, this took way too long, but should be done now. So this is what I did. Basically, we now have this puzzle attached down here. Let me turn on the lights. So when you walk up to it, you have these 4 gems, right? Each one you enter, you see the cover slightly open up. And when you enter the final one, then you can increase the volume. And then the entire thing slides open. And now you can start spinning these. I just made a really shitty placeholder pattern here. But I think the whole opening sequence or whatever works quite well. I also did it so that you can... So now we have the simple route, right? Which is basically that each one is just spun by itself or whatever. Also, these are not supposed to move the same way they do. Before, I actually made a little, you know, swoosh type animation in between, but I think I misaligned the thing here. Let me see if I can sort that out. Wait, I just need to drop down one more, I think. Yeah, there we go. And then when you do the final one, it spins one whole way and then it opens up. Pretty neat. I also managed to make it so that it continuously updates the small one as well, which I do think is pretty cool, you know, small little details. So now you can see here that the middle circle is closed, right? If I enter these two and I go back, then you can see that those two are now red, they have been entered. If I enter these and I take a step back, you can now see that the entire thing is open. So basically it continuously updates the current state. But then this is why I feel like, you know, this is a little bit too simple. Like, it literally takes a couple of seconds to solve it, right? Which I don't know if that's an issue, because like I said before, like the overarching puzzle to unlock this one is way bigger, since you basically have to do multiple... Like, the way I'm thinking about this is having this be like one of the main progress objectives, right? Which means that, like, to get each one of these, which I haven't actually made into an item yet, that's something we actually could sort out. Basically, to do that, you're gonna have to solve a bunch of puzzles, right? So there's a bunch of puzzles to get the first one, to get the second one. So like the process of opening this up is already gonna be quite big. So in that sense, maybe it doesn't matter if this part can be solved easily. You could even argue that maybe it should just automatically unlock when you place this, but I don't know. It's still fun having some little mechanical thing you have to do first. Because the other thing I did, which became way harder, I should say, is that I made it so that these can connect to other ones, right? So each of these circles, I think the way I did it is that, yeah, here we have slide the pass. So this one is gonna connect to the second one, that one's gonna connect to this one. This is gonna connect to both of these, that one connects to you, and that one connects to you. This makes the puzzle, like, mechanically a lot more difficult. But it's to the point where I don't know if maybe it is too difficult instead. Let me just catch up with chat here quickly, because I think I'm quite far behind. Played a lot of board games, Catan, Carcassonne, Robo Rally, etc. with some friends on Saturday. Sounds like a good time, TechBox. But you're spoiling the spoilers by not showing them. Yeah, there's a Twitch button under the options menu. Hit that and it launches the browser authentication session, returns the token. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, so that does make it... Yeah, look at that. Twitch. So you just click this one to authorize yourself. Good shit, man. I think that makes it a lot more, you know, approachable for people. It's just easier to get into it, right? That looks epic. Already looks super cool. Thanks, guys. You should have drawn a hand flipping us off. That would have been fun. Looks amazing. Reminds me of one from Fate of Atlantis. I listened to a podcast going through that one. Fate of Atlantis, spinning... how did I do it? This puzzle. Now I'm a bit intrigued here. Because I did try to find other games that have done similar things. I haven't played this game, but I did listen to like a talk through, I think you called it. Did I manage to find it? I wonder. I assume this would be some like close-up puzzle of sorts, right? Maybe this isn't the part. Just click the first video that showed up. And that looked like a circle, that could be something. Oh, is it this, maybe? Okay, is this it? Is this the one you were thinking of? Looking classic and simple, cheers. Sorry, we all saw the spoilers in the guitar reflection. You know what, if you did, I'll allow it. I think that you used that puzzle to load the game. It was just at the start. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, wait, are you talking about this one? You had some solutions in the game manual, if I remember right, but it's been a long time. There's a first glance. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here.
We're gonna have to replicate that here. So, if we remember correctly, in this playthrough, darkness is on the right-hand side, and we have the new moon at the top below the setting sun and the tall horns. Now then, we know what these two stones are. The only thing we don't know is going to be the world stone in the middle. So, first possibility we're going to try is to align the city with the darkness. So let's go ahead.
Okay, so this seems
that.
like the... Because you could certainly do this as well. This seems like something where... You know, since this is not like forming an image, or maybe isn't like entirely intuitive straight off the bat, I assume he has gathered like knowledge elsewhere to figure out how this should be placed. Is that correct? Joe, can you send me a link to your code via DMs? Thank you. You can link it in the chat as well if you want to, Strom, if you have any link for it yet. Have a nice stream, Chappy. No worries, Mother Sheep. Thank you for dropping by. And thank you very much for the raid again. Once again, people, go and check out Mother Sheep if you haven't. Oh, and is that
of course, we get lucky with the first.
Okay, that one is interesting. So I assume that to make it so that you can't accidentally solve it, or at least to minimize the chance of it, you actually have to click the middle one to try and solve it. That is pretty interesting. That is something I might actually do. Since at this very moment, I do have a middle one that isn't actually interactable. Like that one works as the reference, right? So I could actually do something similar where you have to align these and then like click to solve, potentially. Because yeah, I think there's a few routes we could go down here. Like either we go the easy peasy style, which is basically all you have to do is just to finish the image by rotating them individually correctly, which is really simple. Or if you want to make it more of a mechanical challenge or like mathematical challenge, you do what I did here, which is now this one is going to turn multiple. And so is this. You can see now this one turns both the outside rings. This one will turn itself and the middle ring. This one also turns itself and the middle ring. And this does become a lot more tricky. That's not right. Because now... Okay, so now have I solved it? No. 1 2 1 2, that's not gonna be right. Okay, so here we go. Now I can go boom. And then... Nope. So this is what I mean, like, this one becomes a lot harder, right? And I think the issue here is that it's not entirely intuitive what you have to do. So I find that here, I think most people are just going to start randomly pressing, because it's hard to really understand like how they are connected. It's easier when I had the spinning sprite that does show it a bit more clearly, so it was a little bit more intuitive than it is now. But this is a more interesting puzzle. I think I do have the solution now. Yeah, I go here, boom, 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 boom. So like there is a way to solve it. I did figure out like how you basically have to line it up for it to eventually line up correctly. However, as you can see, even now it's quite a lot more difficult, and I wonder if this is too difficult. Like this was me trying to do it, basically knowing what the solution is. So for someone doing this the first time, I think this is really tricky. Unless I can somehow show how they are connected better, but I don't... It's difficult just visually coming up with a way of doing that. That's intuitive and looks decent and so on. Seems like a good idea to avoid brute forcing, yeah. I'm bad at puzzles, but do non-adjacent move together? Yes, sometimes they do, yeah. I could make this a little bit simpler, actually. What we could do is this. Just so it's easier to visualize. If I just fill this one in. This is not gonna look good, but it's going to more clearly show you which are connected, which is more similar to what I had before this little weird placeholder art I did. So if we do something like that. You know, now at least you can more clearly tell like which are connected. But still, with that being the case, it is really difficult. Now, obviously, it's harder here because the image is kind of hard to understand it as well. Like, I can solve this fairly quickly now, but that is, you know, with me actually knowing the solution. So, I don't know if this is too tricky, basically. Like, obviously, I can solve it here, but I don't know if... Like, I've done this puzzle, like, probably 30 times now, so I kinda know what I need to do. I don't know how easy it would be for someone the first time they do this to figure it out, and I'm fairly certain that it's gonna end up feeling like you accidentally solve it, which is, generally speaking, not a good puzzle, right? Because that's how it was for me the first time I did it as well. I think I kinda ended up getting the solution accidentally. That one I didn't even mean. That's where the button to solve it could be good. But yeah, I don't know if this is too tricky, potentially. To make it like one of those turning padlocks, not only does it have to be in a specific position, but in a specific order, without the adjacent turning stuff. Turning padlocks. Not entirely sure if I know what you mean. You mean that you would just have to solve them in a specific order? That's fairly easy to do with the adjacent stuff. Like, if I make each and every one connect to a unique one, so they never overlap, and then I have one that doesn't connect at all, now you will automatically have a set order that you need to go through them. Which does make it trickier than just having to, like, form the image. Like, okay, so an easy one here would be something like, say that 0 connects to this. No, wait. 0 connects to you, 1 connects to you, 2 connects to you. 3 connects to you, you don't connect at all. This is one way of forcing it to be in a specific order. I would still say that it ups the difficulty with like... Maybe you double the amount of time it takes to solve this. But to be quite clear, that means it goes from like being solved in 20 seconds to 40 seconds, you know. Now again, I don't know, I think it would have been maybe cool if I could do something here that maybe takes like a minute to solve or something. Like, where you still have to put in a little bit of thought, it's not just like brute forcing and whatnot. Because now if I start off by just trying to do it here, like I'm always messing this up, right? So here the solution would be to go from outwards and go your way in. So it's basically a way to force a specific order. And of course you could juggle that one up as well. I don't know if that's what you mean, but... Maybe put a painting somewhere with the solution, just in case, as an option. Yeah, the thing about that one is... Like... Most of the time, like, knowing what the solution should look like is not really the issue. Because it tends to be... Like, you will instantly recognize when something is in the right slot. So if there's no like mechanical complexity, if you just can like put them all as you want, then I think no matter the image I do, it's going to be super intuitive. Like you're basically gonna get it immediately, right? And if I add mechanical complexity, then it's still not like the image that is the problem. Like I'm actually quite uncertain. I don't think showing what the solution should look like really does help out that much in either case. Just like I said, if I don't connect these at all, then it's... Like, I think almost no matter how complex I made the image, it's going to be really easy. You're just gonna be able to tell when it lines up correctly. So right now, the thing I think is the issue here is that I feel like the options that I currently see is like either way too simple and it takes like 15 seconds to solve it, or mechanically very difficult, or maybe not very difficult, but it will end up being very unintuitive. Could you have each ring turn 2 of the rings with overlap on which they turn? Yeah, that is basically what I did. But I think this is where the issue just becomes like making it so that the player understands this in like an intuitive way. Because I did make it so like this one controlled both of these. You control that one, you control that one. So basically all of them control something else. And it definitely makes it into way more of a interesting puzzle. But I don't know, obviously I would need some playtesting here, but for a lot of people, I think this puzzle is not gonna be great, because it's, even for the ones who maybe get it, I think the risk of them accidentally solving it before they figure out what the solution actually is like too difficult. Like, it's too big of a chance. That was accidental, which doesn't feel good, right? I think maybe making this one the center piece interactable and have that be the solver could be pretty nice. I don't know how to, if I would have to like make a little key or something on it to make that more understandable, that like this is the unlock button or whatever. That is something we could try, because at least it would make the accidental solves not be as immediate. Because you'd get kind of surprised, like, oh shit, I accidentally solved it. I think that would be fairly simple, to be honest. Otherwise, what we could do is just not have an image. And then have it be like a logic puzzle. You know? Like, for example, say maybe the outer ring has 1 sun, 2 mountains, and a bit of water. You know, some shit like that. Where like it's more of a logic puzzle where you go, okay, so the sun should be the highest, the mountains in the middle, and the water below. Like where it's more of like, it's not like an image, it's more of a like connecting the dots, like logically what makes sense. Because then we don't need mechanical complexity. Because there is something where I find it a little bit risky going with mechanical complexity, just because it seems very easy for it to end up being a bit unintuitive. Where either people are gonna get frustrated and just start spam clicking, or they're gonna like accidentally solve it because they don't really know what they're doing. Because you kind of have to, the way I did it now, you kind of have to just jumble them up for a minute before you like understand how they are connected. And while doing that, there's a risk that you basically accidentally solve it. On disk moved. Yeah, so we could change this. Right now, whenever I move any disk, I trigger this function, which checks if the puzzle is solved. So we could actually rename this into try solving puzzle or some shit like that. And then what we do is on all the other rings, we stop calling this one, and then we make only the center ring call it. So here, let's see, Unity event, yeah, let's remove that one. And then with the middle ring, we are gonna make you interactable. And then I'm gonna add a Unity event on click, maybe do a little sound effect. Sound effect should be like the old click in, sure. The event is going to trigger try solving puzzle. No matter what, I think this could be a neat little thing. Yeah, fuck, maybe I should make it a logic puzzle instead. Yeah, so now clicking the middle will try to solve it. Now I have to align these. Oh yeah, this is gonna be solved. Boom, 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 boom. But at least now it doesn't immediately open. I don't know how much that does, but... And then when I click this, it's gonna solve it. Kinda like it. I don't know if I need to change the size slightly of the rings here though. Because now we have the issue where the middle ring is supposed to be the reference point, but it also kinda needs to... be intuitive. That's why I put a little key on it now. Because otherwise, like now, when the middle one is messed up, there's actually no way of knowing that the solution is for this line to go upwards. Oh wait, did I fuck it up? Like, this should have been the solution as well. So we do need a reference point somewhere. But then less complicated than my idea. I still don't know if this is it. I don't know if this is intuitive enough for people to solve. Just like, it might look fairly easy now when I'm solving it, but obviously, like I said, I've tried solving this like 30 times. I know exactly how I need them to line up. Like, people who play this or try this puzzle for the first time, they are not gonna have that information, right? So if I do this like mechanical complexity, I think what most people would do is just like randomly click these until maybe something accidentally just works out. Because it's almost too annoying to try and understand what the actual puzzle is. And then this happens, and you're like, oh, I accidentally solved it. But that's not gonna be... because that was me just spam clicking until I accidentally had the solution, which I guess always could be the case. But that's maybe where a logic puzzle could work better. As in, if you, for example, did something where, you know, we have these rings, right? And maybe we do... it could be either logic or external info you need. Like, you could do, as I mentioned before, you could do like a little sun. I don't know how much this looks like a sun. But just imagine that that's a sun. And then you did like waves down here. And then you did mountains here. Like, this logically seems like the correct solution, right? Because the sun is higher than the mountains, and the mountains is higher than the water, or the oceans. So you could go with something like that, or something where we just make random things, such as maybe there's an X here, and there's a circle here, and there's a square here, and there's a triangle here. Which means that it's not gonna be intuitive at all how you need to order these, but then maybe elsewhere in the game there's like a document that tells you that, like, oh, it has to be aligned like this. But then this becomes more of an issue of like, do I want the player to have to gather more stuff? Because I also feel like that could be a little bit... like, that should feel a little bit odd in terms of pacing as well. Like, imagine you go here, you have found one of these. You go away for like 20 minutes and you manage to find another one. Like, at the end you might have spent 1 hour to collect all of these, and when you finally do, now you have to go and find another thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, pacing-wise, it feels like... it doesn't feel like this would be the moment where I should just give you another, like, obstacle for you to go and do something else before you can solve this, since that's basically what each of these gems were, right? Like, it feels like this puzzle probably you should be able to solve it on the spot. Like, you shouldn't have to go away from here. Just the same thing, like, you could say, oh, you could, to make it more interesting, remove one of the rings and you have to find that one. But that has the same kind of idea as the gems already do. And it almost feels a little bit douchey to the player to force them to go and collect something new again, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? Not Puzzle Master, but I think when it's solved by brute force, the puzzle was not very good. Yeah, it should bring some intellectual joy, I guess, but I could be wrong. No, I think you are absolutely correct. And that's the annoying thing where it goes two ways. If you solve it by brute force, it doesn't tend to be as rewarding, right? Unless sometimes when it's like I mean, no, because even a mechanical puzzle is not supposed to be brute forced. It's just not like the typical kind of thinking knowledge puzzle. But the thing is, the same thing happens when it's too easy, right? That's also... Like, you don't feel good about solving a puzzle that was super easy. So if I once again disconnect all the rings, and it's literally just about lining them up, it's almost a non-puzzle, right? Because now this is... Like, you know, a child could solve this in like a few seconds, right? Because now all you have to do is... quite literally just line those up, and then you're done. Like now, and this doesn't feel super rewarding either. At the same time, like I said before, I think there's a fair argument that maybe this one... Since there's so much, or like relatively so much work going into getting these collectibles that you need to be able to even do this puzzle, I don't know if the puzzle has to be that difficult. Maybe keep it simple, but have the player need to set it so the line points at each gem to light them up. So 4 solves required. Can you add more video quality options, sir? 1080p is hurting me. I cannot. It's completely out of my control. That is all in Twitch hands, unfortunately, Lupo. However, you guys have control. If you get me to 75 average viewers and I get partnered, then I can have more. But yeah, that's gonna take a little while. It's I think on Twitch is basically a little bit where partners have priority for video options, and affiliates and other streamers get it if there's enough bandwidth or whatever. Which does mean that it depends a little bit on the day. Sometimes I might have quality options, sometimes I might not. At the same time, obviously I could lower my baseline to 720p or something, but I'm not sure that's the right decision either. But I hope you're doing good, Lupo. Yeah, we could do something like that. I do think that would almost be the same as this though, wouldn't it? Because then the solution here would be to like do this. Now one is pointing at each. At the same time, if I would do a logic option here, then I guess I wouldn't need 4 symbols on each one. I could just have 1 symbol on each. I have 5 rings at the moment. When full line was a gem, then full line was another gem, etc. That is unfortunately always going to be solved if you mean a full line from each one, because that means that the solution will be like this, right? And since I only can turn them 25 degrees or 45 degrees, if I turn this now, it's still going to be solved. Basically, no matter how we solve them. No, I was trying to say unless we realign the gems, but then it would just be like this instead and the same thing goes. Since now, even if I just spun one of these discs, it's going to end up being the same solution, right? Oh, I see. You mean, okay. You mean that it would be this. I need to do this for this one to light up. And then basically move it here. Yeah, you mean having one line, but you have to get it pointing to each one. Okay. Yeah, I definitely would add a... Oh, with ring pass. The thing there, because then it gets trickier. Because the thing is, I think the issue with the ring pass is that it almost becomes too difficult even with just one solution. So if you then have to do it 4 times in every direction, I think that's gonna get people very frustrated instead. Depends on how difficult you want the solution to be. Yeah, and that is the issue, because like I said, I find it right now it's either like with the pairing of the rings turning it into like a mechanical puzzle, it becomes like far too difficult, I think. At least with the current stuff I've been trying. And then not pairing the rings at all makes it far too easy. I think it is okay. First time when you make the ring glow, the tube, now it's clear what to do next. Yeah, I think it's... But I think the same thing goes here, like, if the rings are not connected, then it's gonna be intuitive, but it's going to be far too easy. Because this is the solution, right? If I pad the rings up like I did before, then it's going to... It probably doesn't quadruple the difficulty, but it's going to at least double the difficulty and time required for the puzzle. And I think this is where the issue is. I think I'm not doing justice as on like how intuitive it is with the ring pairing. Because obviously I solved it like 5 times now on stream, but I know the solution, right? Like players don't know the solution. And that like mechanical complexity makes it a whole lot more difficult. Maybe randomize the ring after each cube. It's tricky. With the pairing, that's still gonna be far too difficult. Without the pairing, I feel like it's still going to be really easy. Because then it's gonna be like this. Okay, I'm gonna solve the bottom one without misclicks. Boom. Now what happens is that these are gonna get jumbled up, like so. And now I go to the other one. Yeah, the issue really that I find at the moment, I don't know, but maybe I'm being like super pedantic here, could be the case. But it still feels like without pairing, it ends up being like super simple. With the pairing, it ends up being far too difficult. Kamarao with the raid. Bem-vindo, man, how you doing? How was your stream? What have you been up to? Anything you wanna share, anything you wanna show, let me know as always. Big shout out to the one and only Kamarao Lendario, yet another game developer on twitch.tv. For anyone coming in, if you don't know me, I go by Madchirpy, and I'm currently working on this point-and-click puzzle horror game called Shroud of Gloom, which you can check out the demo for on Steam as we speak. My game is finally out on itch. Let's go, man! Drop the link. Here's a link to my demo as well, in case anyone wants to check it out. And the wishlist, indeed. Rudy, welcome in. How you doing? Good to have ya. Yeah, I kind of like where this puzzle is going. It's just like the difficulty balancing here that is really difficult getting it right. Now I'm kind of leaning more towards potentially having this be like a logic puzzle. Don't forget about wishlist, true. Mathematically, what's the minimum ring count you could go for pad? With the exact setup that I did, I think maybe... I mean, it depends, because I can randomize the how it starts off, which obviously can change it quite a lot. Without that, I did make a set starting position as well to try it. Maybe like 10 or something. But then the issue is that that's, you know, also when you know how to line it up first. Because obviously it becomes a little bit of like a math problem, right? Because one ring is gonna turn another one, so you need to make sure that that one is in the right position, so they both turn correctly, etc. And the issue is not like the minimum count, it's more so the maximum. Like, how many times could someone click this without getting the puzzle? Because I don't think this puzzle is a good spot for someone to get like proper stats. So I do think it should lean towards being a bit simpler, you know? But like here, for example, just lining these up like so, like that almost feels too simple. I could be fine with this, I might be overthinking it. Right now, I almost think this is better than the ring pairing, at least unless I can come up with some way to make it more intuitive. Delrit with the raid as well. We're getting back-to-back raids here. Thank you very much. Welcome in, guys. How you doing? What have you been up to? Anything you want to share? Anything you want to show? Let me know, as always. Shout out to Delrit, yet another game developer on twitch.tv. Go and check him out if you haven't. For anyone coming in, if you don't know me, I go by Mad Chirpy and I'm working on this point-and-click horror puzzle game called Shroud of Gloom, which you can check out on Steam. Demo is out right now. Currently working on some new puzzle ideas. You know what? We've gotten a fair bit of people coming in here. Here's a little trailer for you guys. Check it out. There we have it. Like I said, the demo is out on Steam as we speak, so go and check it out if you haven't. If you have played the demo, make sure to leave a review and of course wishlist the game as well. Sorry guys, we do have some ads coming up in a little bit. I unfortunately cannot skip this one. Each page is Giga Bare Bones, also doesn't run on browser, but give me a sec. There we have Space Mages. Oh, have you been... Oh yeah, wait, I saw you work a bit on this. I need to play some puzzle games because I have a puzzle game idea. Oh, do you? Not click count, ring pair count, so less rings to manipulate to reduce difficulty. Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, okay, you mean that like less rings should be interactable. Maybe. Can't go over how good the trailer looks. Cheers, man. Delirate, do you have any links or anything? Anything you wanna show? What have you been working on today? Without the pairing, I feel like it's going to be carried a lot by how difficult it is to identify what the drawing behind it is. Yeah, and that's the thing where the issue, I think, is that it's very difficult to make a image that you don't identify. Because even if you can't see what the image is supposed to be at full, then, like, when the rings align correctly, like, we are very good as humans at pattern recognition, right? Which means that as soon as it clicks into the right place, you're gonna go, oh, that's correct. Because you just tell that it lines up, right? And I think, unless I would manage to create some, like, super ambiguous thing that might look correct in multiple ways, but that's probably very difficult to do, right? Because you would have to add like a bunch of red herrings with like things that could potentially line up even in the wrong thing, and just like managing to actually make that, I think, would be very difficult. I think even if I just did a really complex image or so, I still think it would be really easy to solve it without the pairing. All I did was add the image and change colors so you don't get flashbanged. Read the file name. What is this? Space Mages just effing post it build, but now there's... Can I see the whole one? Now there's actually kind of a game.zip. You know what? That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Was this the... this was the first build, was it? Here's the link again if people wanna check it out. Yeah, okay, so just what we could do here as well, about the whole thing about potentially having less interactable rings, like, the rings themselves don't even have to be interactable, right? Like, I could do little buttons in the corner or at the bottom or on the side, where you press the buttons to rotate certain rings. But then... okay, I guess 3 would kind of have to be the minimum. Because I think if there's only 2 buttons, it's probably gonna be, even with a lot of pairings, it's probably gonna be too simple. Would it? Because I guess I do have space around here, like I could do 4 buttons and still have like the symmetry. Or I do 3 buttons and then the key button down here, the one that you press to solve it. And then there's only 3 buttons you click to like rotate the rings. Then I don't know exactly how I would show which rings you're rotating, or whether that just automatically happens. Ads should be over, welcome back guys. Is the first build as playable? I had some small issues when I uploaded it, and then add a thing to allow the player to change the points to win. Ah. So wait, do you want to pitch your game cam now? What? Let the community know, what is the game you've been working on? Okay. One thing these puzzles often are missing is the reset button. Yeah, that might be a good shout too. It depends a little bit on whether I randomize. Because if I randomize the starting position, a reset button doesn't do anything for you, really. Because what I think most people use a reset button for is to be able to look up the solution. So you can reset it and then you look up the solution and you go, okay, I need to click this one 3 times, that one 2 times, and this twice, and then it's solved. Isn't that like kind of the somewhat? Unless it's a puzzle where you could kind of overcomplicate it. Like you could make it more difficult for yourself. Maybe it is. I mean, it's not a difficult thing to add, I suppose. But I did see that about actually another game, because I were looking at some games that had somewhat similar puzzles, and I did see one where people actually did ask for a reset button. Depends, I often just do it for my own sanity. Okay. Yeah, maybe. No, it doesn't really help, but it helps me reset. I mean, like I said, it's not really a difficult thing to do. So, probably worth doing. The only thing is that, of course, we want to make it look good as well. Like I said, I do have some space here. Guess we could do a reset button and a solve button on the sides or something. But then do I want to have buttons down here? I mean, I guess I could do 1, 2, 1, 2. Like 4 buttons down here to switch the rings. And then you have like a reset button and a solve button. Could do something like that. Will it reset if you leave and come back? No. I don't think I have... This save is probably the only thing that resets if you've started entering your code. If I turn this here, I walk away and I walk up to it again, it's gonna remain in the same place. Potentially quitting out could reset it. I don't know if I would bother saving the state of these. So potentially quitting out would be like a hard reset. This game is a local multiplayer PvP platformer and everything one-shots you, so very fast-paced. I want to make the movement feel really good and have combat and movement have a very high skill ceiling. Sounds very good. So, main question. Do you have the swinging mechanic in there? That's a real thing I want to know. Can I swing in the game? Would making part of the UI make sense? Yeah, just that's the only thing I try to keep in mind. It just obviously I don't want to do. If anyone doesn't know, I'm very much in this game. I'm very much against adding like actual UI buttons. Like, you know, I don't want to have just random buttons that doesn't environmentally make sense. So I that's why I kind of feel like I would have to somehow get it to work with the. I make it feel ingrained in the environment or whatever. Do the unpaired version, having rotations be 45s would help reduce click spam solves. They are 45° now. But still, I think the issue with the unpaired one is no matter what we do, it's like as is, it's already too easy. Not just in accidentally solving it, but just like solving it is far too simple. And then with the paired one, it's the opposite. That one gets like far too... Oh, the 90. Oh yeah, true. Never mind. I'm being silly. Don't listen to me. That is correct. Does make it a little bit more It does require a bit more art, because I cannot literally rotate them 45 degrees. I would have to draw, basically redraw the entire image in 45 degrees, and then switch the sprite whenever you align it 45 degree. I don't know if that's gonna make much of a difference, because I think it's going to be fairly obvious when something is 45 degrees. So I think it's possible that it would just kinda force the player to do more clicks for the sake of it. Because, you know, here you have a very clean line. When you have it 45 degrees, it's gonna look like this. And if you have an entire image like this, you know, the jagged lines and stuff, I think is going to make it... Obviously, it depends a little bit on what exactly the image is, but I think it would be fairly obvious when it is misaligned. Because I don't want to rotate it in Unity either. Yeah, that's also gonna be... Just then you're gonna be able to tell that these pixels around it have been rotated. So that's gonna be a big tell as well. I don't know, this is why I've been struggling with this one. I find it to be a really difficult one to like manage the difficulty of. Like, it's either far too simple or far too difficult. I think potentially a logic puzzle could help that. You know, like, if we did the whole thing like... Okay, let me do this in white now. Say that we have a... This is a beautiful, shining sun. I mean, I would have to make sure that I can make this actually read, though. And then, like, here we put some... yeah, look at that. What a mountain. And then here we put water. And then we do... This is a man. And then we do... I don't know, this is fucking Saturn or something, another planet. Because now it would be more of a logic puzzle. Ah, shit, the issue though is when you turn these, if the symbol is not symmetrical, it's gonna be obvious when it's upside down instead. Unless I would refactor it and actually change the sprites. This would then have two solutions. I guess I would have to put more symbols on each one. But this could be another way of doing it, like doing something where it's not mechanically difficult, it's not as simple as just aligning the image, but it's more like logic based. Which either, what other ideas could you have here? Just now, the initial one I went with is quite literally height. Like whatever would be the highest should be pointing upwards. If it's like placed in the middle, it should be right or left. If it's on the bottom, if it's lower like the ocean, it would be downside. It's like, Are there other types of logic puzzles you could do in this way? You know what, the grappling hook is within the files. I did look into adding it to this game. Do it was fun, man. I like the grappling hook in the other game you had. Didn't really make much sense with the current state of the game, but it will always be a thing in the back of my mind. Okay, Dog, welcome in. I was playing with 2D tile maps on Unreal. I was going to be just testing for my primary game, but now I'm making a Vampire Survivors, but with anime boobs, just another side project. Of course you are, Wakacha. It's more likely for the grappling hook to be part of the top-down spaceships part of the game, but I've been having doubts if I want it to be a thing or not. Oh, interesting. So would that be one of these like where you go between 2 different game modes kind of thing? Having a lot of issues with the game design-wise. Yeah, which I guess is game development in a nutshell, isn't it? At least for me, I feel like that way. Like, the design of this game has changed quite a few times since we started working on it. Okay. So this is a bit tricky. Yeah, if I want to legitimately spin these... then I need to either do some code that manually... like, I could make the symbols separate game objects and have those objects like counter spin however you turn this one so it always remains upright. Because otherwise here, like, the issue is the fact that, like, if you have something looking like a man here, it's gonna be very obvious that this is incorrect. Obviously these icons here are not the most pretty ones perhaps, but... I guess maybe they did something... I don't really understand fully how this one worked, but I think this one in Fate of Atlantis used outside, like, external knowledge. Like, you needed to figure out stuff or find stuff in other places to understand how this one is supposed to be placed, I think. None of this stone disc combination worked for me. If none of the world stone options are working for you, that means either the sunstone or moonstone alignments are incorrect. I did try to look at a lot of other games, but it's so tricky finding the right one. I know, like, God of War had one of these, like, spinning puzzles, but that one wouldn't work in my game. There are a few. I found one where you could have, like, multiple rings and you have to kind of... but a lot of them feels like it ends up being too difficult instead. Like, I saw one, what was that? Like Magic Beans puzzle. This is actually like a... I think this is like a literal, like, toy puzzle thing. So like on this one, for example, you have to align all of the colors, which seemed a little bit interesting. But I did look up, like, what the solution was. Like, obviously the beginning is fairly intuitive, But I don't know if it almost got a little bit too tricky towards the end instead. I don't know, if it's not obvious yet, I've been struggling a lot with coming up with like exactly how I want this puzzle to function. Sunrise, day, night, sunset on the outer wheel. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I think a logic puzzle could work here. The issue is then, like, what the fuck do you do on the other rings? Oh yeah, there's Estonia showing. True. Oh, but how does that one... Okay, so if I would have done the same thing for my puzzle... How the fuck do you know how to align it? I guess the sun... But why should the moon be below the sun? Because technically they spin, right? Like, how do you know what the correct solution is? I mean, I guess that one of the issues here is that I don't know how this puzzle exactly works. But I think this one... I got the impression that this one requires outside, like, external knowledge. Matching some stuff found drawn in rooms. Is that how this one works? Yeah, so that would be more like external knowledge that gives you the correct solution. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking for yours. Okay. Yeah, because you could do that as well. Then the symbols could be whatever. The issue here is that I'm not entirely sure if I want to force the player to go away and look for something else here. Which might sound silly, but it's the whole thing where, like, this puzzle, like the overarching puzzle here, already requires you to go away and do a lot of the stuff. This is like literally just the end point. So it's gonna be like, you have to solve a bunch of puzzles to get this one, solve a bunch of puzzles to get that one, go away, solve puzzles, boom, go away, solve puzzles, and then finally find the last one. And then if this opens up and it's like, okay, now I have to go and find more stuff, that feels like... I don't know, it feels odd. It feels a little bit like punishing the viewer in the wrong place, you know? If you ever get stuck designing puzzles for video game, go steal some ideas from enrichment activities that zoos do for parrots and primates. The difficulty level is perfect. 4 symbols per ring. You have the symbols in some sequence of 4 subtly around the frame between the gems. Match the 4 in a line towards the adjacent gem. Okay. Yeah, fetch gem. Yeah, it feels like it ends up... Like, once you finally have found all of these gems and you open the puzzle up, it feels odd to once again go, now go and fetch this other thing. Like, so I think I want the player to be able to, once this opens up, they should be able to just solve it. But yeah, that's an interesting one. We could put... basically some clues around the frame as to how this is supposed to be aligned. I could also... I could put the symbols as a cross. Unless I actually make the gems have a symbol on them. Either or. Because otherwise, nothing says that I can't put the symbols like this either. And then we have space basically here to do something that hints as to like what symbols are supposed to be on this side. We could also do it on the actual gems, like, I don't know, I could make this thing bigger. And then you could do like, I don't know, very limited on pixels here, but you know, you could do small symbols on the actual gems that basically show you what should be aligned towards this one. I was about to say, sequences of 5 including the gems, The jigsaw puzzle, instead of a real math game, should just be like a rotated jigsaw puzzle. Jigsaw puzzle is just a normal, the classic puzzle, right? Yeah. But that's kind of what we had first, right? With like just making the image. And the issue with that one is that it doesn't have mechanical complexity. That would be just aligning stuff. And I think that ends up being quite too simple. I'm kind of starting to lean a little bit towards maybe making this into more of some type of logic puzzle. I don't know exactly what that would be. Like, either put a symbol on the gems or a symbol here, and then have corresponding symbols here that might, like, and they could be quite, the issue is that, shit. No, I don't need 4 symbols on each ring, because the issue is if I do 4 symbols on every ring, then you only really need to solve one. Like, say that you have shapes as one. So there's a square here, there's a triangle here, a circle here, a cube here, whatever. Like, at that point...
Luasoft 10 challenges the community to a marble race.
Let's do it! What's up, Luasoft? Like, at that point, as long as you can recognize how to solve one of these, you will automatically solve all the other ones, so that might be a bit simple too. Depending on... Obviously the shape one is fairly intuitive. I guess you could make them harder to, like, a bit more ambiguous. Or you do it so that maybe there's only like 2 symbols on each in different orders. So sequences around the frame and start symbols are in the gems to know which line sequence it needs. Rotated one is like the Azteca old ones, which kinda matches. Wait, is that like a specific type of like puzzle you're referring to? Maybe I'm way out of scope here, but the rings should have symbols so you can shift to another ring. I have thought about that too. It definitely would require a relatively big refactor. I think the way to do that would be to have multiple rings that overlap each other, where they can basically steal one from the other one. The thing with those is that I'm a little bit scared that it could end up being too difficult. Because, like, this is the issue. I'm trying to walk a very fine line in terms of difficulty here. Especially because this is like a collectible puzzle where you actually have to find all of these first. So, you know, to even open this puzzle, you need to have done so much things that I'm very hesitant to make the puzzle itself too difficult. At the same time, I don't want it to be too easy, like now when you just have to align, like make the image, and it's basically a toddler to do it. So I'm trying to walk this line where I basically want some light, medium difficulty. Like, I don't want the risk for anyone to get like proper stuck here, but I also don't want it to be solved in like 15 seconds, do you know what I mean? Which is maybe, you know, I have some problems here with my expectations of what I can make here. Because, like I said, I'm very well aware that I'm trying to walk a very fine line here in terms of difficulty. Nonetheless, let's take a quick break and just do a little marble race, ladies and gentlemen. Luasoft as the challenger. Do you have a preferred map? Giga Plinko, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, exclamation mark, join in the chat to get some marbles. 4 different symbols per ring, so top and right gem might need the same symbol in ring 1, etc. if multi-part puzzle. Vertical line, sun, moon, mountain, water. Right line, sun, water, mountain, moon. Ah, okay, I see what you mean. However, if they are mirrored, because you mean then that they would be... Yeah, they would basically be mirrored, right? So that will decrease the amount of difficulty quite a lot too then. Since basically that... Oh no, I guess... No, yeah, if they're mirrored on both axes, then there's 2 solutions, right? Chancros, welcome in. Was a super hard version of this puzzle. Well, the one I did, which I think is too hard, is not like insanely difficult, right? But I did one where each ring was like paired to another ring. Oh yeah, wait, let me start a prediction and then I'll finish this thought. Whether or not you guys think that Luasoft, the challenger, will win. 2 minutes to vote, poll starting right now. The difficult one was basically where each ring was connected with another one. So it basically almost becomes like a math puzzle of like how you need to align these first and then like misalign some so that you can do some steps that will align them. Like, you know, it becomes a little bit more of a mechanically complex puzzle, which was quite interesting, but I think it ended up being a little bit unintuitive / maybe too difficult. Project Unformed, good to have ya. This is a puzzle you can prototype with cardboard and thumbstats or laid groups in Krita if you want to be high-tech. Might as well put it through its paces before worrying about refactoring. Probably a good shout. I did think before making this as well that this actually is a pretty decent opportunity for some paper prototyping, stuff like that. How you doing, Chancros? Could have the door lock and reshift the puzzle after X amount of shifts. Yeah, that's true. That could be an interesting way of like basically forcing you to do it in as little steps as possible. Currently we have 6k on the challenger, almost 12k against the challenger. With about 20 seconds left in the prediction, if you want to gamble some points, go ahead and do so now. Okay, I saw the images you sent as well. Okay, dog. So how does this work? Is this... Is this from a game? Yeah, it is. What is the game? I kinda need to see how this like mechanically works. Can we find a walkthrough of this? Okay, the poll should be over. Ladies and gentlemen, if anyone else wants to join the marble race, type !join in the chat. We're gonna be starting in about 10 seconds. How's everything going? Been slam busy this couple of weeks, haven't been in a few streams. No worries, man, I know how it is. So far it's going quite well, been making some progress. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, into the first Plinko section. I see Dark Muppeteer Camarao taking the lead there for a moment. The triple Dark Muppeteer going into the second one. Pretty good start there. It's 6 Plinko sections in a row. This is the Giga Plinko. Nymph and Teabag first into the third one. We are at the halfway point here. Boolean taking the lead for a few seconds there. Avzek first into the fourth one, almost going straight through. He's right now in the next to last section. Nymph and Dark Muppeteer, the only other ones in here. Pretty good lead so far. Dark Muppeteer, though, might actually overtake him right at the end. Basically the battle between Muppeteer and Zek, and it does seem like Muppeteer is going to take this one home. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And also, Dark Muppeteer in second place, as well as third place. Nymph 4, Boolean 5, Avzek 6, Techbot 7, Muppeteer 8, Boolean, Nymph. Holy shit. Dark Muppeteer absolutely dominating the leaderboard. Unfortunately, that does mean that Luasoft, the challenger, did not win this one, so the points of the believers will be split amongst the non-believers. With that, we have not every marble in the race. We have Dark Muppeteer is going to be last place as well. Second winner, aka last place, also goes to Dark Muppeteer. What a fucking run, eh? Like I said, that does unfortunately mean that the challenger did not win, so we're gonna complete the prediction and get back to work. Thanks for playing, as always. Tittare i din region kan endast förutsäga utan att använda hotdog bean search. Yeah, it sucks. In Sweden you can't even gamble a bit of fake internet points. I don't know who this is, mute volume, okay. Let me check it out. Thanks for finding the link for me, dog. They were just examples. 4 symbols on each ring at cardinals don't need to be the same symbols per ring. Align correct sequence of symbols towards the required gem to light it. Rinse and repeat for the other gems. So still pretty simple. And just about moving things to the correct rotation. Sequences randomly and subtly hits and around the frame. Yeah, I do kinda like that one. I think it could work. Okay, so here there were some missing pieces you had to find. We're not gonna do that. Okay, so I think this is straight up just aligning, right? I don't know if there's a reference point, unless you maybe can't move the outer one. Because it did move the inner one, right? The issue with these is that I find them to be really simple. But yeah, I think the outer one was the reference. Because there's this whole thing about these type of puzzles where you instantly just see when it made sense. Like, boom, everything lines up. Like, it's immediately obvious when it is in the correct position. Even with a relatively complex symbol like this one. Yeah, it's just aligning exactly. 1-to-1 record. Which is why I've been thinking about potentially doing it with more like even mechanical complexity or with some logic puzzle of sorts. But I think if it doesn't seem like it works out, then I think something like this could be fine too. Because I think in the end, I'd rather want this puzzle to be too easy than too hard. I think for this specific puzzle, it's better to lean towards it being a bit too simple. Saying good night a bit early today, see you all next time. No worries, TechBots. Have a good night, man, and thank you for dropping by. Appreciate having you here. Okay, let's see what we could do here. Can I find something like aligning symbols puzzle game? You know, I just realized you could turn this into like a Sudoku variant as well. Each row has to be, you know, make up the same amount. That could actually work, to be honest. You know, maybe you put like one number on each one, and then all of the numbers in the rings have to make up that number. That's another way of doing it, I suppose. Would be more punishing for people who are less proficient with the maths. How to decipher the symbol pattern. That sounds more like it's a clue rather than a puzzle. Also, if it ends up being too tricky, there's absolutely nothing that says I shouldn't minimize the amount of discs you can rotate. I could basically merge them through the center. Just get rid of the middle ones. To make it so maybe you only have 3 rings you have to spin, if I want to make it simpler that way. Maybe a modular puzzle. Holy shit. Then I can't even complete it. Boolean, thank you for lurking, man. Might be odd with numbers sideways in the rings. Yeah, that's true. Especially with like something like a 9 that upside down is gonna look like a 6. Unless you do the thing where they spin as well to basically counter the spin of the parent object so that they always align correctly. Which is by no means impossible, right? Because what we could do is just to make little rings. Then it would kinda... that would kinda make sense, right? 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh shit, I don't know if this is enough. Because then you could at least imagine that like this ring is also spinning so that it always remains in the correct alignment or whatever. Like, there are ways of getting around it. In case you wouldn't need to animate a background at all, just switch the symbols. Yeah, just I could just do this with the. I could just have position. Yeah, kind of just move the position of those things rather than like technically I wouldn't need to actually rotate it. Because the thing is that I do rotate them now, and then I have this weird sprite in between to kind of try and show the movement. But technically, I don't have to rotate the ring, right? Like, we could just move the things. The ring technically stays still the whole time. It's still gonna look like it moves. If it was position animation along the circle path, could make it look super smooth. Ah. Yeah, you mean that basically the symbol would be taking more steps while going around? It could probably, it would look better than this. I mean, obviously, for anyone that isn't aware, this red ring that shows up is a placeholder. It's just to kind of give the general gist of what I did before, having a swoosh type thing. But that would definitely make it look smoother. Should just add a little bit more coding to set that up. No, you know what I could do? We could have an array of points where they can be aligned. And just move them along from one to the other with small waiting times. Could probably work. And the reason why you wouldn't just use do twin to rotate the rings over time, or just looking for something snappy? Nah, it's because of pixel perfection. If I literally rotate the ring any less or more than 45 degrees or 90 degrees, whatever, you know, with those increments, then we're gonna have rotated pixels, and that is illegal and punishable by law. Unfortunately, it is one of these kind of disadvantages of working with pixel art. This would have been so much smoother if I was doing like vector art or hand-drawn or something, because then we could quite literally just, you know, smoothly rotate the ring. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury here. Okay, let me do, let's see here. I'm gonna do new layer. Oh wait, let me hide that in case I accidentally save this. Just gonna set up my layers a little bit better. I really need to remember to make an actual save the project of this one. I keep working with just the PNG and it's fucking brutal. Okay, bum. Let's see. I'm gonna remove you. And just one last thing I need to separate and we can try this out. I'm gonna do this and then this. Okay, so now we should have nothing here, exactly. Okay. So if either we should do some number thing or we should do some symbol thing. Because I think as Cheetah said, not sure if I have time to do this today, but if, say we do symbols, we just do something here. That's not centered, which is a bit annoying. This needs to be even. Like, to basically get smooth. Am I really forgetting to use layers again? Holy shit. Like, if I put this one here. What we should do to get perfectly smooth, or not perfectly smooth, but smoother rotations, is just to put more points that we go through before reaching the end, right? Yeah, boom, 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 boom. Maybe even with a little bit of a swoosh if you want it to be real fancy. Could be something to consider. Remax and Fuzzy Buzzy, welcome in. Good to have ya. Okay, if we would do some sort of logic puzzle. Then we would have to show... I do kind of like the idea of showing some symbol on the frame to show you what should be aligned where. But like, how do you... It's still the thing about managing difficulty here. Like, how intuitive should it be? Because for example, if we did this. Say that we have a square here. And then you do like... Nope. Like, if you just did shapes, I feel like that would be far too easy, right? If you do some circle type thing here, you do... That's almost a square, let's be honest. You do like a... Triangles are kind of difficult. Like a triangle here, you do like a... What other shapes do you have? Can't find a major hexagon here. Alright, I would actually need to draw this one. I mean, you could even have the example of what if you made... Like, we can't just make these into squares, right? Because then we are back at the whole thing where the puzzle is just aligning this. And now it takes no thinking whatsoever. So it feels like we would need to have symbols which are semi-ambiguous, where sometimes it might even seem like one could fit into another one, but then maybe that makes another symbol elsewhere not make sense. Do you know what I mean? Coca-Cabana, welcome in. Thank you very much for the follow. Have a great stream, have fun everybody, I gotta go, no worries. Lepo, thank you very much for hanging out, good to see you, man. This feels like something where you potentially could find... Because I don't know if I want to make... I don't know if this place made sense for like a math puzzle. Like I said, we could basically turn this into like a Sudoku type thing. Or a... Either way you can't have repeats, which might be simpler, because there you could even... use shapes. Or you do where you actually have to have the symbols inside of here add up to a specific number. But I don't know if I want a math puzzle here. Morgestaveljet, also how does one say Morgestaveljet på svenska? So let's see, Veli or Veljet here is brother, right, isn't it? Morgesta is a greeting phrase. Do I even know? Is that good morning? No, is that just like good day or hello? It's just a generic. How does that sound in Finnish? Like, what vibe does morjesta have? I suppose that is the question. It's like we have a lot of greetings in Swedish, some which sound a bit silly, some which sound a little bit more hip or whatever. Some sounds classic. Like, how does... Because for me, I don't know what morjesta... Like, what kind of vibe that has. 4 to 5 symbols on the frame. Quarter edge. Optionally have one missing in the sequence. I think having some missing ones could actually make it a little bit harder. Potentially. Highly brotherly, like way to say hey. It's kind of like redneck way to say hi, brother. Wait, are you calling your nieces a redneck here? A more complex pattern symbol on the frame that incorporates simpler ones on the rings. Oh, do you mean like you would have basically an amalgamation of multiple shapes or symbols here? And you would have to like pick those out and find the correct ones here? Oh shit. I did not know the puzzle was solved there. That could be an interesting one. Not as like obvious at first glance. That one's kinda interesting. I don't know, you could make like a little square. Which shows the order, but we don't want to just... And then maybe you could have a square on another one too. Then you put like a circle around the square. And then maybe this is like a X below it. Do you know what I mean? So this, in that case, would mean that you want to align the circle, or the square, the circle, and the X. Just needs to be readable. Yeah, it definitely needs to be readable enough. But then what other ones would you do? This is where it becomes tricky since we're so limited on frames as well. Oh, sorry guys, we do have some ads coming up in a little bit. Just then, like... I guess you could go from... you could reuse the same ones, but go from smaller to larger. And having that decide the order. So maybe the biggest one is supposed to be closest, so this would mean that the X is supposed to be here, then you have the circle, and then the square is the smallest, so that's supposed to be the inner one. Because then you could even reuse these, where now, on another one, you might have the X being the smallest, can I do this? No. And then like a square around that one. And if I can circle around that. So now this would be the opposite, where now you want a circle, a square, and an X. You could do something like that. Because I don't know if I would like to do it like this and just like list the exact order like 100% intuitively. Because then it kind of feels like it becomes just about aligning again. Which is the tricky thing here, right? Because I don't want it to be too difficult, but just aligning feels too... We basically want just alignment, but with like some slight complexity to it, or maybe some extra logic you have to use. Yeah, the combined one feels more interesting in puzzle-like, exactly, because the other one is like it's almost obvious, right? You could have the symbol needed in the corners, but each ring would have multiple of each. Yeah, just here I'm thinking that if we say that we do 3 like this, they could all have the same ones. And then, I mean, we could even go further. We could have repeats where maybe there's 2 squares. So I had another square around both of those. They still are individual. Squares end up being kind of big though, so I might rather do circles. Then again, it is the whole thing where we do need to make sure that this does remain somewhat readable. Because like here, it becomes an issue of like how readable is the X now? Do you understand that there is an X in here? Not really. Ads should be over. Welcome back, guys. Okay, so this would only require 3 rings, really. What size is this? 11 by 11. Let's see, if I go from the center, in the center here we should have a square like so. Which means that to align it perfectly diagonally, it is going to be a 1 pixel center. So say we try to keep these... Okay, let's just prototype this and see how it feels. That's 12 by 12. And we're gonna do... We're gonna need 4 of these symbols. Wait, did I fuck this up? Oh, 10 by 10. Oh, I see. Well, I need this to be 13 by 13. Then I guess we might as well make this one a bit bigger. Maybe up the size of the circle. And then a little square. Oh yeah, but one corner may need 2 triangles and 1 circle, yeah. Oh, the thing with that one, that is gonna be... This might end up being too difficult though. And no, unless... I mean, if you clock the whole thing about the size mattering, that's gonna make it easier. Because if there's only one which has 2 circles, then you're gonna know how to align that one. Right? Since there's only gonna be... not necessarily, wait, because here there's a circle in the middle. Here's there's a circle at the end.
What does a cloud wear under his raincoat? A thunderwear.
That's so dumb. What's up, blind fish? Welcome in, man. I have not heard that one before. Symbols in the rings should... Symbols in the rings should still be in circles / sockets. Yeah, that's true. Of course, I'm not using layers. Do I have enough to make a circle around this? Yeah, that would be something like this, right? It would be 1 bigger. If I want it. Yeah, that does fit. What size is this? 19, so there is indeed a middle pixel. So it should have rings like this. Because I think that would make it look a little bit more grounded as well. And we just place those inside of the rings. It wouldn't be filled in like this. It's just for testing purposes. Okay. Maybe. I don't know if I can make it this big, can I? Oh, I can't do an X here now. Just that would force that into becoming a square. I mean, I guess I should have like a plus as well. Now I'm only doing 3. I do have more rings than that. Wait, let's do this one. We can do boom. I'm just gonna try something out. Yeah, repeats. Do we want to do that? Maybe. But yeah, let's do one repeat as well. Ah shit, I lost the size. Let's do this. That's probably fine. Sure. Oh, does that not paint it on the other? Oh, do I need these as well? Is that how that works? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we have our slots. Let's turn this stuff off. You're too small. Let's just try it. It definitely feels like this would be a little bit more of a puzzle. Okay. Biggest, closest, I guess. Maybe this is a little bit much work. Such a perfectionist, man. It doesn't have to be perfect, but somehow I just cannot help myself. Okay, so what do we have on the big ones? We have X, circle, circle, X. Maybe red. That's a bit annoying. Fuck it. What did I say? X, circle. I'm gonna get a randomized starting position, so at least the first time I will kind of be able to do this one the way you're meant to. Or it's gonna feel like I'm doing the puzzle at the first time, kind of. I guess I still know the solution. Okay. Should probably try to get a square somewhere, but I might change exactly how these look. I mean, let's be honest here, I'm not even sure this is gonna be exactly how the puzzle works, but... okay. Circle X. I don't like that they can't be... Should have made the rings slightly different sized, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. It's not supposed to be perfect. How you doing, Blindfish? How was your weekend, man? Square circle. And then... what do we have? Square, square. I need to move these, I'm not doing it on the correct ones. Oh well. What did I say? Square, square, X, circle. Are my rings different sizes, or am I dumb?
Hey Chappie, focus.
I'm mad focused. Is this one smaller? No. Spent all the weekend on the easiest story engine. Why is that? Wanted to make a Game of Thrones style emergent stories, but always everyone died or they just chilled forever, so gave up. Finn is fine, how you doing? Welcome in, man. Good to see ya. Hope you've been well. What are we pointing at? Currently working on a new puzzle here. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it yet, but prototyping a new little idea here, and we'll see whether it works or not. And let's see, how do I make sure the... Okay, so we have 2 rings we're not gonna use at the moment, so for the smallest ones, I'm just going to do this, so I know how to correctly align them. And then we are going to nick this for this one. Which I guess is there. That looks correct. And then you need to go over here. What the fuck? Yeah. We're gonna hide that one and those. And that should be all we need, if I'm not mistaken. But might have solved it already, you might need to rework it. If the answer is 5, then you need to rework it. Fuck. Oh, well that's actually... Wait. This is actually good, this is perfect. Finn is fine. Can you... solve this puzzle? Well, these ones are not part of the puzzle, so we're gonna do this. How do I... Oh yeah, we have... Yeah, the middle one now is to try and solve it. I thought the answer was 42 or something like that. I wonder how... I wonder how intuitive this is. I'm gonna do what I always do and just force Miss Chirpy to try my puzzles. I do suppose we definitely have the ambiguity here a little bit. Yeah, so the rings can indeed be rotated. They all rotate to the right, and right now we are only playing with the 3 outer rings. This is the type of thing where I would need a bit of playtesting to determine how intuitive this is. So it's an exact cover then? I think yes. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by exact cover, but probably. I'm gonna say probably yeah. You're definitely on the right track. I really like this design. I do think this makes it more of a puzzle rather than... Because like the other one, when we just had an image you had to align, that was far too simple. And then when I added it so the rings were paired to each other, that kind of became too difficult. I feel like this potentially could strike something a bit more in between. A Shroud of Gloom puzzles are always solvable, or are they time-gated so they can't be solved until something enables them? There's a bit of both. Like they are, some are, you know, for example, like if you haven't gotten into the house, of course you can't solve the ones in the house. Sometimes you might need to find an item to be able to solve some puzzle, etc. So it's not like every time you stumble upon a puzzle, I mean most of the time you won't be able to solve it immediately. But every puzzle in the game is solvable. Yeah, of course every puzzle is solvable, otherwise it's not really a puzzle now, is it? I think you said for this puzzle you might have to find something before, and no, I want this one to be solvable on the spot. But no, you are correct in terms of this ring is invisible from the beginning. Yeah, I think this is what you mean, T-Bag. So for this one you would have to find all of these gems around it first to be able to open it up. So there's gonna be like puzzles to find each of these, and then you get the rings, and now you can do the final part of this puzzle. Okay, so the outer symbols have 3 shapes within each other, so I guess you're rotating the ring so that the inner symbols matches the innermost symbol on the outside symbol. Middle, outer, largest. That sounds pretty good. So top left is X square circle. Okay, so now we have X square circle. X circle square. Okay. Everyone shut up and let Finis Fine do this. Are you Nima with the raid? Did I not get a raid alert, or is that just incredibly slow? What happened to my alerts? Well, that's a bit fucking odd now, isn't it? Nonetheless, thank you very much for the raid. Let me throw you a shout out as well. Are you a fellow developer? In that case, what have you been up to? Anything you want to share, anything you want to show, let me know. If anyone coming in does not know me, I go by Mad Sherpy, and I'm working on this point-and-click puzzle horror game called Shroud of Gloom, which does have a demo you can play on Steam right as we speak. If you played the demo, make sure to leave a review, it would mean a lot to me. Codinho, welcome in, man. If Sharpie helps Finn fine, is it then front seat gaming? Oh, that's a funny one. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my alert. Sorry about that one. No idea why that alert didn't pop off. Bottom right. X circle circle. Okay, so if we move that one, we now have X circle circle. We still have X circle square. Okay. We get in somewhere. And also, just let me know when you want me to solve it, Finn. Or when I should try and solve it. I made it so there's a button to try to solve it. You've seen my game once before. Oh, sorry about forgetting that. Metroidvania about a spider. Do you have any links or anything you want to share? Feel free to drop the link and we'll check it out again. Sorry if I forgot about it. X circle circle. Bottom left is circle square X. Damn, I was going to make a joke, but I forgot what the recruiter once called you with the generic mail. It was... What did he call me? He called me Cameron. He called me Cameron. How's it going? So far so good. Been struggling a bit with this puzzle. Trying to come up with the right amount of complexity and difficulty, but I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. Bottom left is circle... circle square X. And that should be it. So how do I solve it? What do I do, Finn is fine? Now I need full-on backseat gaming from you here. For the reference, if you didn't notice, each of the rings can rotate 90 degrees to the right, clockwise. I don't have much to show right now aside from the build you played before, but yet I run and take care of some chores. I'll share links next time when I have a bit more time. No worries, man. Thank you very much for the raid. And I'll make sure to drop by and check out what you are working on your stream as well. On fucking cue, there we have it. The latest fucking raid alert I have ever seen in my life. Holy shit, that was like 4 minutes or something after the actual raid. Fucking hell. Yeah, so rotate the middle twice. Are you happy, Finn is fine? Should we try to solve it? Okay, wait, have I fucked something up where there might be... Oh, yeah, we can't have this. Okay, so you are correct, but I realize now that my outer ring, I cannot mirror them like this. Look, X, X, circle, circle. So this is technically correct, but I'm gonna assume I need to flip this twice. Because there is only one correct placement, right? But this one looks the same. So yeah, we would have to sort it out so that it can never be a full mirror. Okay, let's try it now. There we have it. GG. Okay, I'm feeling kinda good about that one. Obviously some overall polish and tweaks here, but... It seemed like it was, at least for Finn is fine, our fellow mid-stream playtester here. It did seem like you found it fairly intuitive. You kinda straight off the bat realized what you had to do. Which is kinda what I want with this puzzle, right? Wait, shouldn't I just... I should just switch the placement of two of these. Ooh, but you know what? The annoying thing is that I kinda like it being circle, circle, X, X. But obviously we can play around with exactly what these symbols are. And yeah, if we're gonna do this, I don't think we need more than 3 rings, right? it feels like it would have been unnecessary complexity to actually use the bottom rings as well. I don't know what to do with all this space though. Oh, you know what? We could just make the rings way larger. Yeah, you know what? I could remove every other ring. So they are twice as big. So this entire... But then I don't have the solve button anymore, do I? Bug found indeed. Send an idea, difficult to explain in text to the Discord general. You could have empty spaces to use all rings and not forcing the order, but having some misleading positions to confuse the player. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, because, yeah, I didn't mention this before. There's technically nothing that says that we have to have a symbol on each and every place. I do suppose with something like this one, the difficulty is going to be determined a lot by exactly which shapes we use and where we place them. Because like the kind of nice thing about this one, let's see if we can quickly solve this again. Like the thing that accidentally ended up being quite good about this one. Oh damn, did I? Oh shit, I mirrored two of them, did I? No, then this one has an X here, never mind. Square... Boom, boom, boom. Was it this? Yeah, this is the thing that's quite good. Here, we now have this one correct. That one is not correct. This one is correct. And that one's messed up. Is this what we did? And then the solution was to spin that one twice. Like, it's good. The reason why I think it's good to use repeated symbols is that you can solve some of them, but then other ones will be messed up, right? Which that kind of creates the false assumption that like, oh, this must be correct then. And then you're like, huh, but now this doesn't work. Which gives you a little bit, you know, it raises the probability of you getting that like aha moment of like, oh yeah, but if I spin this now, then those align and this, I think, is correct. Yeah. Question is if this is would make it a lot easier instead. I think it might, actually. I would have to try it. Fairly easy to try, to be honest. So an exact cover problem is a problem with only one solution that resolves itself with subset groups that can't be solved in a polynomial time. Fam, am I fucking dumb? I understood like half of that. So an exact cover problem is a problem with only one solution that resolves itself with subsets of groups that can't be solved in polynomial... What the... Wait. First of all, what is polynomial? Some polynomial with one variable. Mathematical expression consists of indeterminates. It means that there's no algorithm for it, there's no subset amount of time relating to solving the puzzle. The tree is too polynomial. Which this is. Too small and yet you can brute force them. Algorithms for NP, completes problems, are generally brute force algorithms like Sudoku solvers, which I have written. Oh, I see. So this might be kinda intuitive for me. I mean, there's no algorithm for it, there's no set amount of time relating to solving the puzzle. ChatGPT explained like I'm 5. Yeah. The thing though is that I kinda, as I mentioned before, I kind of want this puzzle to be a bit intuitive. Like, I think it's better for this to lean towards being too simple. But at least that you could potentially have like 1 or 2 stumbles. Because I don't want the player being stuck here. I definitely need to fix this. I mean, that's... but this could mess up how the puzzle worked. Let's say, we don't have any outer squares. Let's see, X, X... Wait, I have 3 symbols and I have 4... So I should be able to use each symbol the same amount of times, right? Oh, but then we have some where I use repeats, didn't we? Yeah, we have 2 circles here. Which I think we should change the size here. We could make this one bigger. Maybe. The brunt of the work is getting them gems to unlock it in the first spot. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the main reason why I really want this to be quite simple. Because after collecting all of these, I don't want the player getting stuck. Like, this feels like a moment where they should be semi-rewarded, not like punished. I definitely don't want them to have to go and collect something. I like this better than find the thing solutions, yeah. Which I could argue this is in the first part of like getting these. But there I actually think it does... The good thing here is that the player will get a good objective. Like, once they find one of these and slot them in, it's obvious they're like, okay, I'm looking for more of these. And then they will be hidden inside like different puzzles and so on. Boob Turtle, welcome in, man, how you doing? Okay, so let's do this. Let's say fuck off to that one and then see, can I make a... I guess I can do this. Sure. No, this shouldn't be... Ah, but does this make it way simpler now? It's gonna depend a lot on exactly where I put the symbols. Because I want you to be able to kind of solve one of them, but then others will be messed up. But I think that should always be the case. Did you celebrate Thanksgiving? I did not. Thanksgiving isn't really a thing in Sweden. Did you, Bob Turtle? Okay. So yeah, if you... I don't think I should put the square or the X here, because people tend to start from left or right. It's better to have a circle thing here, so you might miss a line. That's easier to create like a false positive, which I think should be good here. Because now, did I accidentally solve this? No, I didn't. Okay, so that's good. Because now this one is correct, but the other ones are messed up. Circle, square, X. No. No. Wait, I need an X here. Okay, so this should be correct then. Maybe. Maybe. With some extra polish, playtesting and stuff, I think this should work. At the minute, I'm kinda feeling better about this. Because when we had the rings be paired together in different ways, that became a bit too unintuitive, a little bit too difficult. Just spinning them to form an image was far too easy. I feel like this at least has a little bit of like a logic puzzle to it. But at the same time, I feel like most people should probably be able to figure this out relatively quickly. I'm gonna change this up. I might do some final tweaks, so it's not gonna be exactly the same in the puzzle. This is probably the most I've shown of any puzzle in the making so far, but I've been stressing a lot about this one, so I did want to get it sorted. Yeah, that feels... I mean, there's also the whole thing where... Why is it... Finn is fine. If you're still here. Why did you expect the larger one to be the outer ring? I guess it is fairly intuitive, isn't it? The larger thing here correlates to the larger ring. That's another way of looking at it. Yeah, it does make logical sense. Okay, so what I realize I think is good here at times is having symbols. We can't mirror them exactly because that creates false solutions or whatever, but having these next to each other is good because that makes it... I mean, as soon as you realize, like, no, just now it's obvious that you're supposed to be here, and then you have to be here. But once again, I don't know if I mind that. I'd rather have this be too simple. In the end, I'd rather have it be too simple. I'm gonna try this. I feel like this could work. Did dinner with the family. Nice, man. Was a holiday in Sweden that should be celebrated in the US. Damn, I do think we probably celebrate most. I mean, you don't celebrate Midsummer, do you? Oh, we also have Valborg, whatever that is called in English. Something... Valborgian Night or something? That's the first ones that come to mind that I don't think you celebrate in the US. They all celebrate it elsewhere. I think Valborg, I think, is celebrated in Finland as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think you celebrate Midsummer as well, right? Time to go, have a good one. See you in the next one. No worries, Chodin. Thank you very much for dropping by today. Always nice to have you here, man. Did think about it, but then I was like, well, if it's the other way around, I can just switch them, yeah. I think this might be kind of the difficulty I was looking for here. It's definitely... I do think it's probably leaning towards the simpler side, but I don't think lots of people would get like proper stuck here. Like with a little bit of time and effort, I think most should kinda get it. I think. Obviously I need playtesting to determine this, but... Midsummer is Juhannus for us. We celebrate everything in Finland. If you're resizing the rings for polish, just make the outer and middle rings bigger then. Yeah, we could do that. Halloween, hey, another excuse to drink. I feel like that... Is that not what, like, the majority of... holidays are? I feel like most of them end up just being, like, a little bit of a excuse either to get together or to just get a little bit pissed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to do 5 symbols. That feels like it's far too much. I don't know if I have enough space for it either. I guess I could do something else with these otherwise, but... I still want the... how do I show that this is the one you unlock it with? Like this is supposed to be the button used to... Can I do that? Yeah. To try and solve it. I don't have a middle pitch, so... I don't know if I love a key. What's a symbol I could use here? Something that's intuitive, that this is where you click when you want to solve it. Hello, hello, what is up, irregular human? How you doing, man? Good to have ya, hope you've been well. A big G? Wait, G for what? The G spot? No. I don't really know. What's a... I mean, I guess you could go the opposite route of doing like a lock, but I don't know if that really makes sense. And I don't have a bloody middle pitch, so that is a bit annoying, isn't it? I guess I could do a check mark. Don't know if I love that either. But it needs to be fairly intuitive, because otherwise people might solve this and then be like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? Yeah, I think I might resize the rings a little bit. Doing great, a bit tired, but things are going. I don't understand this puzzle. But I also just joined. Okay. Okay. Can you figure it out, irregular? Or can you don't have to like solve it, but can you figure out what the puzzle might be? So for reference, all of these rings, the 3 outer rings, can you can spin them 90 degrees to like clockwise. You'll be our second midstream playtester here. Do you think, can you potentially figure out what the solution might be? Or like, not necessarily what the solution is, but maybe like what you need to do. Remove the smallest ring and use a handle symbol. That could work. Yeah, if this is a door, can it be a door handle? Maybe. The outer contour of all the 4 red stones combined. Ooh, I just realized they probably slot in pretty perfectly if you just push them in. I wonder though how intuitive that is. Well, of course some things need to be aligned to each other. I assume the shapes at the frame are giving some hints, okay. Irregular is cooking. Tell me, like, with the limited amount of I don't know if I can make like a full-size door handle, and it's a weird spot to have a door handle because this is quite high up on the door. Obviously I would have a lot more pixels if we do remove the smallest ring. We can use this entire one to make some larger symbol. You are definitely on the right track, Irregular. Because, I don't know, there's something with like a check mark feeling a little bit... It feels a little bit like almost too on the nose or whatever, do you know what I mean? Is rotating one ring spinning multiple rings? Or more than just one step at a time? No, each and every one only moves 90 degrees. So it will rotate once clockwise. And only rotate itself. Ginger Dev, welcome in, how you doing? Glad to have ya. Hope you've been well. Now there's no check marks in anyone's home. Also, let's start doing some shoutouts here, people. First and foremost, if anyone does not know of Finn is Fine, he's yet another game developer on twitch.tv. Go and check him out if you haven't. Also working on a horror game. But is there really any substitution? I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do... Like, I did a key first. That was the first thing that came to mind. I do think the check mark feels a bit more intuitive than the key. Like, it's basically undone. So, click on this one. I think the key works too. I don't know how well a door handle would read here. Oh, I could make like a G or something. Like something that looks like this is something you can turn or whatever, potentially. Yeah. Like just some, like almost generic handle, like, but something that looks like you can try and spin or whatever. Did you just say gear damn it? Yeah. No, I think something like that could work. Instead of shapes, could you also try playing with colors? Green instead of checkmark? I can't. I don't have green in my palette. Yeah, as Nymph said, unfortunately, other colors are illegal in Shroud of Gloom. I have 3 shades of grey and I have red. Do I have... No, I have 7. I have... red... Like, darker red, really dark red. I have white, light grey, dark grey, black. That's what I have. That's what we can play around with. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we also have Mises in the house. Yet another game developer on Twitch. working on a really cool game called Shadows of Tuonela. Go and check it out on Steam. No fun allowed. Yeah. I think maybe we'll try some type of gear handle of sorts in the middle. I think that could be intuitive enough. Maybe. Then maybe add some, like, if the puzzle is incorrect and you click on it, then it makes a little almost like a door yanking sound effect or whatever. Like, why if I even... If I did something like this? Maybe not. Maybe. Potentially. Is that too much? Maybe. No. No, I don't think I like it. We could potentially do something along those lines. Sorry guys, we do have some ads coming up in a little bit. Appreciate your patience. Thank you for lurking, irregular. Appreciate ya. And also, for anyone who doesn't know, Irregular is yet another game developer on Twitch, also working on a horror game. Go and check him out. Then got a confetti challenge from my game and hooked it up to a channel reward and streamed it via HTTP request. Damn! Lot of fun, shit. That sounds nice, man. Just a door symbol. Like, run on top, flat bottom, door cut in the middle vertically. Game developer Twitch? Never. I don't know, am I overcomplicating this? What do other games do? Video game... let's go mechanical puzzle. Those tend to be brute forceable. If I can find what other games use as like the try to solve button. I guess here you would play. Maybe. On the top of my head, I can't think of any game that has like a proper solve button. But no games use it, because the good thing about having like a solve button is that you have to... like, it decreases the chance of accidental solves quite a lot. Which makes it feel more like you actually solved the puzzle. Even if you accidentally line everything up or whatever it might be. At least you have to recognize that yourself to then press the button, right? Gotta head out. Have a great rest of your stream, Chappy. See ya. No worries, Boolean. Thank you very much for coming in. But let's keep the train going. Yet another game developer on Twitch. Go and check out Boolean as well. Thank you for hanging out, man. Appreciate ya. Big red button that says press in white letters. You know what? That, you might be onto something here. You might be onto something. I mean, that one in the Faith of Atlantis, I don't know if that one made it very intuitive. No, Fate of Atlantis. At the same time though, this is a very old game, and I don't know if I should base my... you know, my game on this too much. Was it early on in the game? Oh fuck, I don't know if I can find it again. Ads should be over, welcome back guys. Hexagon with red in the middle, like a basic button. Little bit tricky, because I also don't really do fill colors in the game. If you mean that it should be like filled in red. I don't know. I might just have to settle for a check mark here. Obviously we can make it look a little bit fancy and stuff. You know, if we combine these two rings, we can make it maybe a tiny bit bigger. Maybe have it, rather than just being in the general shape, you actually do like a full outline of a check mark, you know? I don't know, it's just something where a check mark feels a little bit too on the nose. But obviously I do need people to understand that they have to click here to actually solve it. I guess as long as it looks interactable, people should try and press it. And if I play like a kind of Yankee sound effect or something, like a door yank type sound effect, that probably would be intuitive enough, I imagine. However, ladies and gentlemen, it is getting a tad bit late. I do need to get out of here, but thank you all as always for hanging out. Please stick around, let's see if we can find someone to throw a little raid at. If anyone hasn't, of course, made sure to go and check out the demo for my game on Steam. Would very much appreciate a review on that one. Also, of course, wishlist the game if you haven't. Other than that, make sure to join the Discord if you want to connect a bit more with the community. Let's see, who should we head out to today? Let's go to... Let's see if do we have some game developer on at the moment. Who did we raid last time? Oh, we raided Cricket last time, didn't we? We do have just Covino on. I think it's been a while since we raided Covino, so let's go ahead and do that. Make sure to throw that chirpy raid in the chat. Go and represent the community. And like I said, as always, thank you all for hanging out. Special shout out to Ionima, Delric, and Kamarau, as well as Mother for the raids today. Very much appreciated. I think I mentioned it before. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stream on Wednesday. So we'll see. It's possible maybe that I do a little bonus stream tomorrow instead to make up for that. We'll see. Join the Discord and I will let you know. But yeah, as always, thank you all so much for hanging out. I feel a lot better about this puzzle now. I was actually stressing quite a bit about it, but I feel like we might be onto something here. Definitely needs a bit more polish, a bit more testing, but feels like this could work. Fuzzlings, Nymph, Dark Muppeteer, thank you all so much. Teabag, Boolean, Gamedev, thank you all for hanging out as always. It's always good to be able to share this journey with you guys. And Blindfish as well, cheers man. And yeah, like I said, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. Join the Discord to know for sure. So until then, have a great one. Cheers.